Welcome to the Needed Report. Constantine Tarema, as usual, your host. And today I'm hosting the beautiful, eloquent Achom Adile Rebecca. Achom Adile Rebecca, I want you to further introduce yourself. Then after you introduce yourself, I know you have increased on the ranks. I know now you're passionate, you're doing a lot of great stuff. Tell the people then as we see what we can talk about on today's show.
So thank you, Kosi. My name is Achom Rebecca Adile, like you had said. I am a feminist. I am a politician. I am a human rights activist. I am also a person who works with young people. I work with a film organizing that is supporting young people in the rural ghettos of Kampala and out of Kampala around film, and we're trying to create stories of change with young people using digital media. I am also a humanist. I believe that humanity is evolving, and so we need to kind of celebrate our humanity.
Like, what do you mean celebrating? Like partying? What does a humanist do?
Partying is part of life, yes, but I would want to say that there is a way humanity is not celebrated so much, that many times wait for someone to die and then we're like, rest in peace, oh, this person is good. And so for me, I'm living that journey of life where I want to see the humanity in people, celebrate them before they die.
Okay.
Yes.
So you come and you see Kosi, you're like, Kosi, before you die, you're a good guy. Like, say that.
I didn't say you're good. What I'm trying to say is, for me, what I'm trying to say is when I look like at a person like maybe Dr. Bessie J, in our struggles as this country, you'll hear at his deathbed, God forbid, so many stories would be said about them, but people don't tell this to your face while you live. And so I'm starting to see and relate with that. As a humanist, I'm trying to understand that people are actually good, because our society in a way has broken that strand that every human's life matters. And so we have already a class balance, which in a way is breaking our lives. And so, yes, I choose to be a humanist.
Wow, that's amazing. This week was very eventful. I want us to summarize it in 3 topics. There was the sad one of the assassination attempt on Katumba Wamala's life, which he lost a driver, Haruna, and a daughter, which was very sad. After that, I would like us also to talk about the State of the Nation address for the president. And then, since it is a Sunday today and it is 6, we're expecting the president to speak later. So I also want us to preview and see what do you think will be in his speech, because I know he's going to start at around the...
So literally we are trying to preempt the president's address. Unfortunately, with no claims, I don't work in State House, so I cannot know what he's going to say.
We can ask, say, please don't do this, don't do this. But I would like us to start on the sad note. To the family of the General Katumba Wamala, where we are really sending our condolences for the loss of your daughter and for the loss of your beloved loyal servant, who's your driver. But we thank God for the life that you will live to see this and tell this another day. So we know gun violence is real. In Uganda, gun violence is where I was looking at some stats, and they said in the criminal report of last year, 250 people were killed in gun violence.
Now, the same day Katumba Wamala lost his daughter, in Bugolobi, 2 security men were shot dead.
Yes, Wankoko, something like that. Was it Wankoko? Yes, yeah. They showed that they were killed in a land wrangle. So are we becoming like an America, where you find anyone can access a gun when they don't even have a training of a gun?
I don't want to say we are becoming an America. It's not an American thing that gun violence is happening. In South Sudan, it has been happening. In every country in this world, it is there. The only question is, why does it happen seasonally in Uganda? And for me, I don't even want to call it gun violence in this case of General Katumba Wamala. It creates a conversation on why him. Why me? I would want to call it an assassination attempt why are guns that are actually high-end, expensive, and effective being carried around by a group of people? And who are this group of people? Now, for me, it kind of speaks to our system as a country that then we spend so much in our budget of defense, and yet there is no security for any Ugandan. So if a whole general is gunned and survives and walks out and is in that level of fear, what about me who will sleep in a small house somewhere and cannot own a pistol? And he has a pistol most likely somewhere.
Definitely, they are entitled to have firearms
and he has a whole security convoy.
Yes, he has.
And this happens to him.
Yes.
So then where did we go wrong as a country? Could it also be that we are spending so much on what we shouldn't be spending on, or that our system is already infiltrated, that maybe the people who should be protecting us are not actually protecting us? And I'm not questioning police. I'm just asking. Only skilled, trained people know these things. Only someone who is experienced enough to hold a gun, has led in service with this, can do this much effective work. And for me, as a Ugandan, as a young person, I mourn for a young girl has died young. And because maybe also politically, because she's a daughter of a general.
Yeah.
Most people will not find that. This week I posted on my social media and I said, so the general has lost a daughter. He will finally understand what it means to lose someone dear. And then maybe we will also understand why we need to start having conversations on murders in this country.
What is your before I forget, what is your take? Because everything was said, every detail, we know it in the media, but I want us to capture the emotional side, where the general is dying, is crying, the general is speaking about the daughter, but in the replies, when you read replies, that's when you get the feel of the people who read a communication. So they would be writing. I can't say they were supporters of this faction or this faction. They say, nafe abana afe bafa, nafe mwabatanga November 18th. So, what is behind this? What does all this show you? Where you find that a man has lost a daughter, but because he represents a certain group of people, or a certain clique of people, other people are happy, or a certain class of people
is big.
Are we that bitter?
I think as a country we have failed to acknowledge that we are in a sorry state. That once we don't see exchange of power, we don't see transition, the blame game starts. And this blame game is valid. I want to understand the general for losing his child, but I also want to understand the ordinary Ugandan for not connecting, because they have never connected with the local Ugandan struggle. That when my child goes to Mulago and they can't access an oxygen tank,
and they die,
and they die.
Yes.
It's not because they wanted their child to die, but because the taxes they paid has not been used effectively to support them. And so, in a sense, they will not have remorse for you.
Was this a case of karma, where you say, what goes around comes around? You killed ours on November 18th, 2020. Also, when you lose yours, we become happy. Is that a case of karma?
There are people who claim karma is at the center of this all. But we also want to say you don't become a general from just nowhere. So I kept on telling people that even while we pity the general, we must also acknowledge that a night dancer, even on his first night dancing, is a what?
He's a night dancer.
So even when we want to say he's the nicer general, he's the nicer general,
yeah,
he's the good general,
he's a nice guy.
We are quickly forgetting just some years back.
Yes.
He punched Zake that took him to
yeah,
hospital.
People say Zake I never read it, but that punch was dangerous, by the way.
Yes. He at some point walked out and said he doesn't need borders in the
and
the border saved his life.
That's karma also. We were saying borders, you will find your own level.
And you see, even goes and says, Bobby Wine, tujabasobola, abawe itachi, Kampala yafe. As in those statements that say, we are the generals, we know this country, it is ours. You don't dare us, the new people don't dare us. In a sense, we need to understand. And someone said, I keep on following conversations a lot on Twitter, and someone said, the same way you've done this, may it arrive back at you. And it did. It indeed has come back to you. Someone said, Aronda Nyakairima would not have died if the women in Amuru had never undressed for him.
Yeah, that was actually you're right.
That the women undressed and held their breasts and danced and cried that you are taking our land and ancestors. So could we also have a conversation that says the people in power have failed to understand that they harm us, that the local person is no longer connecting with them, and whatever happens to them, they're like, oh my God, you have just answered our prayers. So it is a bad thing that we no longer hold remorse as a country. But will I blame the ordinary Ugandan? No. Will I blame General Katumba? Maybe. When you're dying with the vampires,
you're definitely going to be tanned also.
At some point,
yeah, the
vampire will start to think, what is in his meat that I've been feeding that does not need to be, that I need to suck on. And so in a question of power, this government came into power with the gun. I laugh a lot when people keep on saying, but this is not a Ugandan thing. Amin did this.
Did this power by the gun, this government came by the gun. These are not secrets, these are facts actually. Viewers who don't know, these are facts.
So we keep on saying gun violence. This is literally what they call a murder spree. We just have different kinds of murders. When the likes, they say Arondas, the Kazini, Serena Nevandas and everything. The way they died, I kept on saying, was that China?
No,
in the poison conversations?
This was UG, straight UG.
In 2021, before I even come to 2021, in the assassinations of the Muslim clerics,
the sheikhs,
and some political
justices,
was it in South Africa?
This was Uganda, 311.
When in 2021 we had young people disappearing.
Yes.
Were we in South Sudan?
No. There's even the women in
and they
Entebbe.
have not yet come back.
Remember the women in Entebbe will be murdered?
The women murders. That one I actually held a demonstration and carried a coffee into Parliament.
Yeah, because you're a feminist,
against our murders.
Yes,
now
yes.
I keep on questioning women murders. Was there a gang of assassins that were brought into this country to just tap women, specific types of women? Unless there's always a conversation to create fear and someone who knows the psychics of that. And we must acknowledge this killing is not just gun violence for me. It's always a state of creating instability in this country, creating fear.
Who's creating the fear? That's what I want our viewers to know.
Now that for me is not a conversation I can engage in, that I know about.
Okay, now if let me put it very well for you to disclaim.
Yeah.
Do you think, like in your opinion, because this is a free country, you can speak what you want. Is it succession battles?
You see, I need also protection on that.
Yeah.
You can speak what you want, but what you speak may not be taken against.
I know. But actually, what I'm asking is very easy, Adile, because some people, viewers of Needed Report, some think these are succession battles from within. These types of Katumba, Wamala, Kawesi, Kazini, stuff like that. Others think maybe these guys are deals or work-related things, like these rumors where they were saying maybe someone fired somewhere some people in the civil aviation and they hired some Bachuba. So do we need to get, is this a trend that is a succession battle, or this one could be a trend that is just about people having grievances with you and they hire hitmen? Like you find Uganda has now a clique of hitmen whom you can actually get their numbers and then say, you go kill Kosi for me.
We could be having that as a country, but I also don't want to answer and give theories. I will stick and say, when night dancers dance, even the new night dancer is a night dancer. And so maybe I keep on using that statement. There is a dance of night dancers happening. and a vampire has entered the night dancers' dance. When the night dancers are dancing and playing the wizardry, the vampire arrives and is looking at the night dancers, speaking, trying to own their territory, because these are all people who work in the darkness of the night. So let us...
No one is innocent and no one is guilty.
No one is innocent and no one is guilty. Let us leave it at that.
Okay, and by the way, as we go to the what was intriguing me, the police shared the footage of the assailants, the alleged assailants, on the borders. And there's a friend of mine who was telling me, every time they could show us a shot, they are passing by the camera and going. So we look at the back view. And when the president also visited them, he was a little bit kind of, I think, not satisfied with how they monitor. It seems, this is what I feel, it seems they come, put on the monitors, and they go to do their things. When they hear that, oh, General has been shot, then they go to rush to see where did they shoot him from. And we are saying, are the CCTV cameras being utilized well? Because me, I believe, if people trade General Wamala for 4 kilometers on 2 suspicious borders, that means in those 4 kilometers, people were not actually paying attention, seeing the live footage. Otherwise, they could have alerted. They say, General, you're in trouble. So, do you feel that these CCTV cameras, as good of an idea they were to be put in different corners, are they used well by the police and the security forces who are supposed to foresee something and warn us in time? Or it's just about going there to trace dead bodies where they are?
I think our problem is the system. We keep on trying to make everything work, and it's not working. We keep on seeing so we have cameras everywhere, like you've just said, and it is already said that there was no one in the control center actually that day, and so the man was arrested. So in this country, what is lacking is we're in a government that doesn't want to transit. It's staying in there, but it's not doing enough work. So you find that even the person who sits at the control room doesn't know maybe what they're doing. Because even in installation of these cameras, you can't tell me the camera at all corners were looking to one direction.
That's the very big question I ask myself.
Positioning. So did we hire the proper people to do these camera positionings? I think no. We can't, in all the assassination attempts that have happened in this country, we keep on saying that Katumba survived his assassination. Maybe because of his life he has survived, but no, he didn't survive because he lost a daughter and a driver. And those are the most personal things to a man.
The guy was beaten up. I could see it.
It has hit him.
It has hit him.
But then, does it mean that him as the individual, he could not have had enough protection, and maybe people who trail in his system? He's a whole general. I keep on questioning his understanding of the people. His security man was never shot. Didn't get any shooting. But the driver is shot.
The driver is the one who was killed, but they say that the bodyguard actually moved out of the car. But those are all things we hear say.
So the theory of the question is, was this an inside job?
Yeah, because actually we wonder, how did they know? Because they said he had a follow-up patrol, but he sent it somewhere else. All those are hearsay. So these guys knew at the time when those guys were going to branch off to take another road, to do another errand, and actually attack him then. So all those things, by the way, they're really scary. But I think these people who are on the cameras should actually see things in real time. You know, like, okay, I'm not going to quote movies, but I've already quoted them anyway. When you're in a movie, these guys are always on the camera, on their shift. They don't even blink. When they see someone cross a pathway.
And yet our country, they say our security system is I think the best in East Africa. And so then the best is having this.
East Africa,
East Africa is in problem.
Yeah, we are in deep trouble.